So between this wave and this wave, you can see there is a divergence. So if this is so let us start from Nifty and from weekly analysis. So if you see, like in the last webinar, we had already said that this low was broken, and all this can be just a retracement unless this high is again broken. Okay, so if you draw one trend line from this, you can see this. So possible up moves are like, it can go this, it can reverse from this, but this can be just like here, it went from this point to this point and then again so there is always a possibility that this goes here and then comes back. And we have to just check without making a new high. If it breaks this low, then this will be a confirmed downtrend, because this was a previous low, and if price has already broken this, so this is a new lower low. And if again price without crossing this goes like this will be a new lower low, and then we can confirm that this is in a downtrend. So now let us see how we can now we don't want to miss this part also, even if it is a retracement. So how can we enter these trades? And let us see, because the counter trend are also, I mean, big moves. So let us see how we can decide when to enter and when to exit. So now let us try to mark what are the possibilities by waves. So we have to understand this is all a corrective move. Now when we draw one trend line here on a weekly chart, so this is the, I mean, we can draw connect these two, and this is all a correction. And in this correction, I mean, there are a lot of possibilities that whether all this is just a triangle, this is a wave, and then all this can be a triangle. Okay, a, so if this is also one possibility, like let me draw that. So this can be a b c d, and this can be e, and then again for this down move we can have again one more down move. So this is one possibility. I mean, let us now suppose this is not now this possibility is not true. So what are the other possibilities? Let us see on weekly chart what are the other possibilities also. So let me erase this first. So I mean, let me erase first this. Now suppose this is suppose this correction has ended here, correction has ended here. Okay, and this is now the next impulse, next big impulse, like this next big impulse. So what will be, and so at this point we don't know whether this is the next impulse or this is just a corrective structure. Let us now see on the daily time frame. See, this is one fast move down, then this can be let me again clear this for you. So this can be again one possibility, this can be b, and then let me again draw this. So you can see this is can be one wave, this can be the b wave for this, and this all can be c wave. So now what is our question, that whether c has completed or this is a corrective structure. So if c has completed, then this will be the impulse, because if because we can see on the right left side we have this impulse. So this impulse corrective structure is abc, and this can be the impulse for this wave, but that is only true if c is complete. So now let us see whether c is complete or not. Now if you go to daily chart, now if you I mean connect this 2 point, you can see this broke this trend line. So if this was the first impulse, then price will never go below this, right? This, so price broke this, so it means the correction is still not over. So, and this can be one more corrective structure like this correction sector. So this can be an expandable flat, or this can be one running flat also. We have already studied what is an expandable flat and running flat, so I will not go into those details. And you can check that from the Elliot series, which we have already covered. So this can be one impulse, this can be the corrective structure, bigger corrective structure, this can go bigger, I mean big also, and then it will again go down to complete this impulse. I mean, see what are the, these are all the different possibilities, and this only depends, I mean future price depends how I mean we cannot at now predict what will happen. So we have to keep all these possibilities in the mind. And now suppose this is not, this is an impulse, then this will never go below this, right? This will go like this will let me erase this. Suppose this is the first impulse, this is the first impulse, then it means that the corrective structure will be very small, and then it will go like this. So we have to identify now, in both cases we are anticipating a correction here, right? Even if it is either we are expecting a reversal, if this is a corrective structure, this is the impulse, we are expecting a big move down. And even if it is, suppose this is the first impulse, in that case also we are expecting small corrective structure and then impulse. It means then we are now expecting a correction rather than it going up. So how, I mean, how can we trade this? Because in both cases, even if it is a small correction, then also it will come down. It's a big reversal, then also it has to come down. So let us see on 4 hours. Okay, so suppose now let us focus on this part. You can see this can be one wave, this can be one wave, then correction, and this wave. So between this wave and this wave, you can see there is a divergence. So if this is one wave and this is another wave, and we are, there is already a divergence, it means we are anticipating that it can fall. But if we get a small corrective structure instead of a fall like this, it means we will get one more and the divergence will increase. So now we are expecting market should come down here, but if it is going up, then we will not be participating because we are, there is a divergence. So, and when there is divergence, there is always a chance that this is the top. So let us see on the 1 hourly how we can trade. So in that case, now suppose I mean, in the previous webinar, I have given a very important, I mean, very easy and I mean, very brilliant strategy of higher high and higher lows. So from this point, now let us track the higher high and higher lows. Suppose this is the trend line. Let me draw the trend line on hourly time frame. So this is the trend line. Okay. Now for an up move, for the short, I mean, see, so once this was taken out, this point was taken out, this is a uh, this was a last, I mean, point for selling. And once this point was taken out, so it means now the buyers have stepped in. And you can see after this point, now suppose we had an entry here, and this was the initial stop loss, then this high was crossed here, this became the trailing stop loss, this high was again crossed, this became the trailing stop loss, and see this trailing stop loss has not been hit. So see how a simple strategy like higher high and higher low works. Any questions till now?
It's clear.
So suppose now you are expecting market has to come down. So which point, I mean, on an hourly scale, this is one wave, this is another wave. it means as soon as we have something like this happens and this last wave goes, then it means the sellers are stepped in, right? Because at this moment on an hourly time frame, this is 15900 is important. But if you go to a lower time frame, suppose 15 minutes, then you will get, this is the point. Is this point clear or not?
Okay, so it means time frame wise the point is changing.
Now but we have to understand, now suppose for hourly the trend is up, is, I mean, that is clarity, right? So now if we get a selling opportunity, let me show you how. Now see, here also there was a correction, but many people have asked me that why this is, I mean, now, I mean, why the uh, why we cannot take a sell trade in this area, right? Because see, now this is the first impulse, and after this, this is not the sell setup. The sell setup, this is not the sell setup, right? The sell setup is this. Let me show you. This should be fast, and then there should be a correction structure, and then you can expect one more down. But if you get a fast move up, as move like this, then you are expecting the move should be up, right? So let us see on a, because for even if you don't know Elliot, see, the trend change will happen on the last, I mean, you have to trail it by keeping stop loss. Now stop loss is here, and this fall will not, I mean, trend is not changed by this fall. Trend will change if it like this. If this was taken out, then you can see now the last trailing stop loss has been hit. But this fall, I mean, did not break this, right? Now suppose at this point, let me go into zoom it a bit. Now see, this is this all is one, this all is very fast and one. So if even if you get a small character structure, now it should clear this as per hourly. But if you get a small character structure then up, and then it takes out this, then that is a sell structure, because last trailing stop loss is gone. So this point is clear or not? So now suppose you want to trade on, let me clear this again. See how importantly a simple trend line also works. Now if you draw a trend line like this, now see, hourly trend line is never broken, right? Now on a 15-minute charts, if you go, this was a time that trend line broke for a 15-minute, but see, the trend on a 15-minute has changed, but that doesn't mean that now major trend, hourly trend is changed, because this is a just a correction on an hourly. This is just a correction on hourly, and you can see on a 15-minute you got a sell opportunity, but this is against the trend of a major. The major trend, the major trend here is up, because unless and until this point is breached, this is an uptrend. And once now in an uptrend, you should always, and as per Elliot also, see, this is one move, you got a correction, and then you are expecting one more move up. So even if you are getting a sell structure, sell on, because if you follow it clearly, this is actually a head and shoulders on 15-minute. But since you are expecting market to go up, then you will only consider the buying opportunity which you will get, right? This clear? So any questions, anyone? So if on a 5 minute, if you want to see where is the selling opportunity, now see, this is one wave, this is correction, this can be one wave. So if you get something like this, So then a trend change happens on a 15-minute and you can enter sell, but you have to know that hourly still uh, I mean hourly still the last point is here only, the big point which now see on a 4 also. This is a big big swing, right? So unless and until this goes, you cannot say that trend has changed. So is this clear? Okay, so shall I move to Bank Nifty or any other question in this? Okay, let us see on Bank Nifty. So if you, if you look at Bank Nifty has actually crossed this point. This is the point. You can see this was maybe the stop loss, right? So now Bank Nifty, the buy. It's not a buy, but it's not a sell also, right? Because stop loss is hit. Now suppose, what is the stop loss for buyer in this case? So if you are a buyer, then the last swing is this. You can see it making a curve like this, right? But if you see, this is first wave only. So which means now suppose, now if you have to see the whole chart here, this is also one possibility. This can be one big wave. This can be, so this is also one structure, right? Now for this impulse, this can be one possibility. But if this is the first impulse, then likewise I said in Nifty, this top will not be broken, and if it is broken again, then it means the correction will resume. So Bank Nifty actually follows similar structure always, and let us see that also. See, this is the first wave, then this is B, and this is C. So the C wave can internally have many waves. So this can be one wave C, and this can be just a corrective structure for C. And for this impulse, we can again get one more impulse. And then this whole structure can be one structure, and again we can get one corrective structure, big corrective structure, which will be bigger than this corrections, and then again we can get one more move down. So unless and until, when will this stop? Unless and until we get something like this, and this correction will be very small, then we can see, now we can get for this impulse, we can again get a big impulse. And how we will see this on chart? Then suppose if you connect these tops, now this is a very important point, because if now suppose we get something like this and then small correction, then we can, now this at this point, if we get on a lower time frame another opportunity, then that will be a good point to enter this, right? So now let us see on a lower chart 1 hour and how we can enter this. Now see, simple concepts like higher high higher low works so beautifully in these indexes. Now see, if you draw one trend line like this, and this was a point last stop loss. So once this is clear, and you can see one correction going on after that, so this is the time to enter. And if you draw this trend line here, so this is a point to enter. Again you got one correction, and you see again this is one impulse. So now let us see, is there any divergence here or not? So so there is a divergence between inter between this, and let us see on the 4 hour. See, this divergence is evident here, right? That between this and this there is a divergence. So it means now whenever we see divergence, there is a good chance of pullbacks. So now pullbacks can be a small pullback, or if this is the last wave, then this can be a bigger pullback. But in both cases, we are expecting some sort of pause in the uptrend. Even see now uptrend, it also, I mean, does not go like this always. It has to, I mean, this is one uptrend. It has to make one corrective structure, and then again it can resume. And then if there is divergence here, then it means this is the last wave. If there is no divergence, it means after a correction we can again go for one more wave. So is this clear? So see, let us see, I mean, on the sell side, now if you follow on early chart, now see how last time the sell opportunity, I mean, came in this. So see, if you draw the trend line like this, now this is not a sell, right? On an early time frame, the major point was this, and once this was gone, you can see now this is the point where on an early time frame it is bearish. But see, before doing that, you can see, if you focus on this part, this is one wave, this is the correction, and this is the another impulse, and in between there is a divergence. See how divergence is linked to trend changes. If there's a divergence, it means soon you will get either a big trend change. If it is a small, then you can expect one more move, but most of the times it is a big change. And at this point also, this confirms that hourly now the last stop loss is hit, and now it is a sell here. So see, after this, you see there was a good significant fall in this. And now before see, the signal is both sides, on the sell and buy also. See, at this point, you can see there is a good strength on MACD, but when it makes a swing low, at this point the MACD is showing divergence. So see how divergence plays beautifully. There's a divergence, the trend changed. At the top, there is a divergence, the trend change. See here, there is a divergence between this and the trend changes. So if you follow these basics only, the divergences and the last lower low, see how effectively you can enter, right? So any stock which you want me to take in here, I can take that. Who else are joining here? This is the stock name.
Yeah, it's Cabra explosion. Maybe spelling might be wrong. Just write Cabra, it will come. Yeah, the first one.
So which time frame you want?
Weekly?
So this is basically an leading diagonal. Leading diagonal is actually 1 2 3 4 5. It comes in the first wave. So after the fifth wave, we get a small corrective structure, and then the best time to enter. So this may be the third wave of this. So if you see, the entry was after the fifth wave was crossed, and at this point you can see the stock has already doubled from it. I mean tripled, in fact tripled also from this point. So now see, now on a, if you see on a quarterly chart also, there is no divergence on a quarterly chart, which means, what it means, that after a good correction, good correction, there is good possibility it will again cross the top. So let us see on a monthly time frame also. Monthly time frame also, right now there is no divergence, which means on a small correction also it can go up. On a weekly time frame, there is no divergence, and I think, let us see this. So you can see this is actually one fast move down. So this can be one correction and then one more move down. On daily, see, on daily it's in this is fast, this is correction, this is fast. So three wave correction is over, right? This is, if this is a three-way correction, but the main thing now happens now whether we will get a three-way move like this, and then for this, let me clear this again. So now you can enter for small, like, now how to take entries. Now we are not sure whether we will get 5 waves or we will get 3 waves. So what we can do is that we can draw like this. Now at this point, when you see on a daily chart the last end, this is over, so you can enter here. And what you can do now, see, you are getting a corrective structure, which means after this correction you will get one more move up, right? So in that move you have to tell whether you have to exit from the stock or not, because if you get a divergences, on making the stop, then it means that this is most probably a corrective structure only. But if there is no divergence and momentum is very strong, then that means that you are expecting one more move up done. So this is how you trail. But because at this moment of time, I'm not no one can tell whether this will be a 5-wave move or this is only a correction move. But if you check on the momentum indicators also like this, then there is possibility of one more move up. That is sure, because even in a correction we will get 3 waves. So after that, if we get a divergence, then you have to exit. But if you get no divergence, then you can hold for more upside.
Okay.
Because right now you can see this price is above this previous stop loss. So this is a higher high on daily. And if you if you get a correction, but this should not happen. Now see, at this point, if it goes like this and breaks this, then there is no, then that is a stop loss.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the 100% should not be crossed.
Right.
So let us, the time is going very fast. Let us check Delta Corp. See, this stock was already given in the Telegram group also. When there was a divergence and it has fallen now. And after when it reached 180 point, so it was a news that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has left this. But we already now see on a weekly chart. We can see that there is a divergence here, and this was already shared on the Telegram group also. So you can see at this point, in fact, like I said, you have to be in the trade, and once the divergences start, you can follow any time frame. If a divergence, so it can happen that without divergence also the stock goes in the opposite direction. But divergence, you have to check all the time frame. In any of the one of the time frame, there must be divergence. So if you are seeing weekly, there is no divergence, go to daily. And if there is a divergence on daily and no divergence on weekly, the daily will be given more significance, because a lower time frame is given more significance in divergences. So now at this point you can see divergence. Now after that you get a very fast move, so which is not a corrective move. This is a very fast move, which means, and correction can be three waves. So which means even if you get an up move, this can be a correction and then one more move, right? So now if you are if you want to invest for B, then you can for a lower time frame, like early, you can see as long as there is no divergence you can enter on the trade, but leave it as soon as you get the divergence. So this is not
Okay.
this is not actually a bullish trade, right? But see why it will go up. I have already drawn that also. This is actually a demand zone. You can see there is a demand zone, and you can see on the volume profile also, this is a big volume node. So which means you can get up move. Now suppose if you get an up move like this, then everything will change in this, right? Then this will be a multi-year breakout, and from this point 52 to 400, it will almost go to 800 also if it goes like this. It all depends on what kind of structure you are getting, and so at this point it is bearish, but at this point it will be super bullish. So any other stock before we wrap?
Sudarshan Chemical. Sudarshan Chemical.
Yeah. All these are actually already, if you are have joined to the Telegram group, these are already shared on those. See, there is already a divergence in mark. Let me show it. On the weekly chart, if you go between this top and this, there is a divergence. So that's why when you see divergence, it means now trend has changed. And because divergence internally means no momentum, and you can see at this point it is falling. So this is a weekly chart also. Now see, if there is a trend line breakout here, there let me clear this. Now see, you see here, this is fast, this is a corrective structure, this is a running flat here, and you get another move down. So now this is three wave, but next thing happens, what will happen here? If you get another big corrective structure, it means another move down will come. But if we get a fast move and this is not broken and it follows, then you can be in this trade as long as there is no divergence between these tops. We never know at this point whether it can go like this also. So you have to trail and find, continuously update your analysis as per on the whether you are getting divergence or not, because at this point also there can be a big up move like this also. So you have to make sure follow all thing on the lower time frame and see there is divergences or not.
Okay.
Not on a weekly basis, but now see, now this is a fall. Now we are anticipating it to go up. We are also not sure whether it is correction or it is impulsive, but even if it is a three wave structure, it has to go up, then only it will come down, right? Because no one wants to sell cheap. If any company wants to sell, then it has to go up, then only they will sell again. So we can take advantage of this, but this is very risky, right? Because you should be expert in doing this, because the best time to trade is this one, left hand side one, and right hand side it is very risky, and you should be an expert in doing this, because all the charts right now is like this only. So even if you're getting up moves, you should not be getting carried away by these, that that now up move has started in stocks, because anytime if there is a divergence, they will reverse, because the major party was on this side, which is over now. Now it is mostly range bound action unless and until these ranges are crossed again. So for this, see, for this major up move, all these are correction only. Once this correction is over, we will get another big move, and then that will be another party time for these stocks. It will take more time.
Okay.
So shall we wrap or any remaining stock?
So we can wrap.
Okay, then thank you for joining.
Thanks, Sunny, for explaining so nicely.
Yeah, thank you.